Welcome back. In the last video lecture, we have seen the various power frequency tests and the impulse tests that are conducted on insulators. In the current video lecture, we will see the procedure for pollution testing of insulators. As we know that insulators are mostly outdoor units, there are different types of pollutions which are being experienced by these insulators. The normal types of pollution which we see in practice are the first one being due to the dust, the various microorganisms, the bird secretions, the flies, etc. The second one being the industrial pollution, which basically will be there in industrial areas. It includes pollution due to smoke arising from the industries, the petroleum vapors, the dust, and other deposits. And the coastal pollution, which is generally experienced in coastal areas, in which corrosive and hygroscopic salt layers they get deposited on the surface of the insulators. And next is desert pollution, in which sandstorms they cause deposits of sand on the surface of the insulators. And when we go to the very cool areas like the Himalayas and the glaciers, we see ice and fog deposits on the surface of the insulators. These will be generally experienced in countries with high altitudes, particularly in the polar countries. So these are the different types of pollutions. In all these types of pollutions, there are different materials which are being segregated or settled on the surface of the insulators. These pollutions or these seditions on the surface of the insulators, they may cause corrosion and non-uniform gradients along the insulator strings. Non-uniform gradient along the insulator strings and surface of the insulators, and they may also cause sometimes deterioration of the material. Most of the times they try to vary the creepage distance on the surface of the insulator. Also, pollution causes partial discharges, and sometimes it may also cause radio interference. As it has been now discussed that the pollution is causing too much interference with the normal performance of the insulators, like varying the creepage distance, causing corrosion, causing partial discharges, radio interference. There is always a need to test the insulators that whether they are capable of withstanding these pollution when they are kept in the field. It is not possible to create these different types of pollutions in the laboratories. We can't create this sort of desert pollution or coastal pollution or ice pollution in the laboratories. So there is one common test condition which is generally followed in the laboratories to test the pollution capability of the insulators. It is called as salt fog tests. In this salt fog tests, just as we have seen in the wet conditions during our power frequency tests, in the salt fog condition, in the salt fog test, the maximum normal withstand voltage is applied onto the insulator, and then artificial salt fog is created around the insulator by jets of salt water and compressed air. So entire atmosphere around your insulator is being created just like some sort of fog is created with some good salinity. So jets of salt water and compressed air, they will be forced upon your insulator specimen. And since it is just like salt fog and you have applied your normal withstand voltage onto the insulator, and now you are supposed to wait for 1 hour. If the flash hour occurs within 1 hour of application of your voltage, which means that during the entire 1 hour, your insulator is experiencing the withstand voltage. So during this procedure, if there is a flashover, then immediately what they do is nothing but they will reduce the salinity, the salt level in the fog. And if there is no flashover, they will immediately move on to the next level, higher level of salinity. Like that, the maximum salinity at which the insulator can withstand 3 out of 4 tests without flashover is taken as a representative figure. So you are supposed to continuously increase the salinity till you experience a flashover, and the same is to be repeated at least 4 times, and make sure that your insulator is not experiencing a flashover at least 3 out of 4 times. And that particular salinity level and that particular flashover level or withstand voltage, they will be taken as a representative figures. And apart from this pollution test or the salt fog test, there are different other tests which are conducted on the insulators, just like the temperature cycle test, electromechanical test, mechanical test, porosity test, puncture test, and mechanical routine test. These are the mechanical tests which are conducted, thermal tests which are conducted on the insulators. Since they are not related to our electrical engineering, we will be ignoring these tests in our course. And you can watch these references. These are the 3 YouTube videos which will give you good knowledge on the testing of the insulators. And for more reference, you can go through this textbook by Naidu and Kamaraj. Now, coming to the assignment, and before going to the assignment, the conclusions, there are different types of tests that are conducted on insulators: power frequency tests, impulse tests, and pollution tests. So coming to the assignment, what are the different power frequency and impulse tests that are done on insulators, and mention the procedure for testing, and explain why pollution testing is necessary for insulators, and discuss the procedure for pollution testing in laboratories. Thank you. I hope you complete the assignment before the due dates. In the next class, we will see the tests which are conducted on bushings. Thank you.